America used to reward hard work and character, and now it protects killers if they fit the narrative. This isn't justice. This is journalism covering for murder, and the truth is leaking out fast. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get right to the video.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Let me present to you a situation. Somebody walks up and talks to you, and then you stab them in the heart and they die because you didn't like what they said. The end. Are you justified in that? And no matter what they tell you? Of course not. It doesn't matter whatever words came out of that person's mouth. You're not allowed to just go up and stab someone in the heart because you liked or didn't like what they said. That's not this country. But what if one of the individuals was white and one of the individuals was black? Does that matter? No, of course not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're both black, they're both white, or they're both purple. This is cold-blooded murder. The end.
Comment right now if you agree with what I'm about to say. Justice is not about skin color, it's about facts. And the fact of the matter is, one young man is dead and the media is protecting the killer. Let's keep going, guys. Make sure you do what I said. Let's see what we got.
Ladies and gentlemen, Karmelo Anthony did just that. He's a young man with a 1.0 GPA who was at a track meet, who took out a knife and decided to stab in the heart Austin Metcalf, killing him. Died in his brother's arms. Self-defense is his claim. He's admitted that he did it. Ladies and gentlemen, he said that he was defending himself. Hear from Austin Metcalf, the 4.0 honor student who's about to go play collegiate football.
And guys, I think the problem here is it's 1.0 GPA versus 4.0 GPA. One came with a knife, one came with a future, and only one walked away. That is what's wrong with our justice system today. To me, that's what's wrong. Let's keep going.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at some of the evidence here and see if that stands to reason. The easiest evidence would be video evidence. Now, in a world of cell phones, cameras, filming everything all the time, I assume there's going to be some footage that comes out. In fact, I know there's going to be footage that comes out because that footage is already slowly being released here. Now, Austin Metcalf is dead. His killer, Karmelo Anthony, is facing capital punishment charges in Texas. Now, the way it works in Texas is because Karmelo Anthony was 17 at the time of the murder, he can't face the death penalty. There's been Supreme Court rulings on this. He's not allowed to be death penalty punishment. But he can spend the better part of the rest of his life in prison for this. He is being tried as an adult, and capital murder is the highest possible murder charge in the state of Texas. And guess what? There's footage. School refuses to release video of Austin Metcalf fatal stabbing. Wow, would you look at that? School officials in Frisco, Texas have confirmed that they do have surveillance video.
They always scream, release the footage, unless the footage hurts the narrative, right? If Austin Metcalf was a guy, doing what Karmelo Anthony did to him, it would be on CNN by lunchtime that day, right? That's the thing. They want to hold this footage and rile up black people whatever way they can, right? Because they release the footage and Metcalf's the guy that did it, everybody's mad. Everybody's protesting. They're going to tear the city upside down. They're going to tear it apart. They'll tear it apart, right? Now they're holding this footage. They're hoping people forget about it because now, like I said in the beginning of the video, the truth is leaking out. Let's keep going.
Showing the murder. Still, they haven't released the footage to the public. Texas school won't release the video. They have the stabbing on a surveillance tape. Now, why would this be important? Well, you'd obviously hinge the entire case on whether Austin Metcalf was in some way behaving violently, and maybe you could get a lower sentence or something like that. There's going to be no justification for his murder, right? And unless Karmelo Anthony can prove, like in our state, right, in the state of Florida, you have castle law. You're not required to retreat. If somebody's threatening your life, you're not required to retreat. Same thing in Texas. If he can prove, if his defense can prove that his life was in danger, you'd have to have a situation where he thought his life was threatened to be able to make that case at all.
We got him.
As we know now, he was just in the wrong tent. He was told he was in the wrong tent. The end. So you'd want, obviously, that footage to show someone behaving very aggressively and threatening the life, right, of Karmelo Anthony. Oh. It's almost like they're deliberately hiding the footage because They know it would make somebody look bad and it doesn't fit the narrative that they're trying to push. Remember, it all hinges on this whole self-defense claim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, some people are starting to get the footage. Reporters are
Listen,
starting to get access to the footage. And they're starting to write articles like this, which are not good for Karmelo Anthony. I watched the footage of the race crime that split America. What I saw shocked me, and it's going to flip the case. It was just after 10 a.m. on April 2nd. Typical high school track meet. Students were warming up and stretching. Spectators, students took cover under a tent. The atmosphere was calm and uneventful. And then suddenly bloodshed. In a matter of seconds, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony fatally stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, transforming the rain into a crime scene. On Monday, the Daily Mail became one of two news organizations granted access to the surveillance footage of the deadly incident, a killing that shocked the nation and ignited race debates. The 40-minute surveillance video, recorded from a stationary camera opposite side of the football field, captures the 10 minutes leading up to the attack and the desperate efforts by Metcalf's twin brother and others to save his life before paramedics arrived. Metcalf, a student at Memorial High School, was stabbed after confronting Anthony, who attended Centennial High School, sitting under a tent, the team he was not affiliated with. Okay? Fine. Anthony has admitted to the stabbing, but maintains that it was self-defense. The truth will come out. Initially, Frisco police said the altercation between the teens led to a violent encounter. However, the footage reviewed by the Daily Mail at the Frisco Independent School District's headquarters shows no sign of a physical confrontation between the two prior to the stabbing. The Daily Mail did not detect anything that indicates chaos that was about to ensue. Like, let's say, and I'm no lawyer, but let's just assume that you saw punches being thrown, right? Somebody was being hit. Somebody felt like their life was being threatened, okay? There are states where you don't have a duty to retreat legally. If you feel like your life's being threatened, you can protect yourself. Again, Texas is one of those states. Castle law, if you feel like somebody's entering your home or somebody breaks into your house, you have a right to defend yourself. You have no...
so guys, no punches, no struggle, just a coward pulling a blade. That right there, if that's self-defense, I'm the Easter Bunny. Man, don't forget to like the video. Let's keep going, man. We gotta check Benny out.
No idea what they're bringing into your house. You can take the matter into your own hands and you'll get an award for it, right? That's how it works here, how it works in Texas. But you're going to have to really have solid evidence that you were in a life or death situation here. Because what you did was you gave a death sentence to Austin Metcalf without a trial. So you're going to have to prove that he was really ready to kill you and that he wasn't just, I don't know, saying things you didn't like, which is, according to all available evidence, what happened. Austin Metcalf came in, told killer Karmelo Anthony to get the hell out of his tent. Anthony didn't like that disrespect. And so, like any honor student, he just pulled out the extremely sharp tactical knife from his backpack and stabbed someone to death. Based on perceived verbal insult. That's exactly what happened here, trust me. Okay, trust me. All available evidence points to that. Anyway, look at this. They saw the footage. Daily Mail did not detect anything that indicated chaos was about to ensue. Strict guidelines were enforced for viewing the footage. Reporters were only permitted to take handwritten notes, were barred from capturing or republishing stills. The districts allowed limited release because the students' identities are not easily discernible in the video. Captured by a high-angle camera positioned near the press box typically used for football broadcasts, the camera shows the tent at the top left of the screen. Students are seen sitting idly by it, waiting for the competitions to start. It's a helpful little diagram here. Here's the tent location, and here's where the body was moved after the stabbing. You can see here, obviously the crime scene there at the tent. Austin Metcalf dies in his brother's arms, an honor student, potentially to play on his way to play college football. Anthony's family moved to a mansion, $900,000 mansion, and Karmelo Anthony has been rewarded for this action.
So guys, you take a life, you get a mansion, right? That's the America that they're trying to build. That's the America that they want you to think is right. Take a life, start a GoFundMe, live happily ever after. Right? That's just horrible. And then the criminals get rewarded and the families get funerals. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this road that America is going down, where they're trying to lead us, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. If we don't stop the head of the snake now, we'll get poisoned.
It's completely evil. Seemingly out of nowhere, it becomes apparent the moment has happened when armed Anthony attacked Metcalf. The stabbing itself is not visible on camera. The reaction is immediate. Students are seen fleeing under the tent. Police later confirmed that Anthony fled the scene, cannot be clearly identified in the footage. Moments later, two people can be seen carrying the injured Metcalf down the bleachers to a walkaway at the bottom seating area. The individuals included some adults rushing to his side to help. As the rain begins to fall, Metcalf's visibly cradled in the arms of his twin brother, bleeding heavily as they await emergency services. His two sons were together. It took only 10 minutes for the ambulance to arrive after the stabbings. The paramedics are seen at the gate near the end zone, driving to the yard line. As they took a stretcher out and back of the vehicle, they seemed to realize they needed to take another route to the gravely wounded Metcalf. They walked back towards the end zone through another entrance to the bleachers. The medics eventually reached Metcalf. However, the treatment administered is obscured by the ambulance. Police are seen covering the area near the tent with a blue tarp, presumably to preserve evidence in the pouring rain. Representatives from the Frisco Police Department did not immediately reply for requests. The ambulance with Metcalf inside did not leave the stadium until 10:27, nearly an hour, half an hour after the stabbing. He was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Guys, you don't get to commit murder because someone hurt your feelings, right? This is Texas. No one, this is not therapy. That's capital murder. The media machine is protecting the person that actually did the crime rather than the person that had the 4.0 GPA versus the 1.0 GPA. One person had a future, like I said, and the other did not, obviously. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and as always, let me know what you act to. We're out.